Hello, and welcome to the 2025 Teacher of the Year Studio Interviews. Throughout the history of the world, great teachers have inspired, persuaded, and motivated students. The St. Lucie Public Schools Teacher of the Year has been around for 45 years and is meant to celebrate and honor inspiring teachers and recognize the importance of teaching. All of us have sat in the classroom of many great teachers. All of us can recall a certain teacher, a very special someone who inspired us to learn. Regardless of their fields of study, they shared wisdom, advocated for students, and their actions transformed lives. Every day, along with 100 million parents, we entrust our children with these teachers. They instruct, guide, coach, and inspire our kids to fulfill their greatest potential. So this program presents some extraordinary men and women whose timeless wisdom echoes the integrity, strength, character, and passion of educators across our district and our great nation. This program is a tribute to and for teachers and celebrates the special and often heroic role they play in the lives of students. Finally, this program is our thank you, our love letter to those who educate, encourage, empower, and inspire the students of the world. Our robust program is designed to bring national attention to the importance of excellence in teaching and celebrate the talents and commitments of these extraordinary teachers. Let's meet them now.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello, everyone. We'd like to welcome to our show at this time Ms. Janelle Hurst, who's the awesome, inspiring Teacher of the Year over at Lincoln Park Academy. Ms. Hurst, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much.
She's brought along my dear friend and the proud principal over at Lincoln Park, Dr. Michelle Harrington. Doc, welcome.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have this chance to speak with both of you. As you know, we are excited about this time of the year. It lets us give our audiences a peek into some of the wonderful educators that we have here in St. Lucie County and ensure them that we have some of the brightest and the best and that you represent them. With that said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. I've been teaching in my 18th year right now. I started out teaching down in Miami, and I taught biology and agritechnology down there. Then moved up to New York, taught multiple sciences because science is my thing. I've done chemistry and earth science and biology and agriculture and agritechnology. And then I came back down to St. Lucie County.
Came back home.
Where I have been. Came back home.
Yes.
Came back home. Yes, I love it here. This is the only place I can do aquaculture outside.
Awesome. Awesome. Doc, introduce yourself, please.
Sure. Michelle Harrington, proud principal of Lincoln Park Academy, alumna of Lincoln Park Academy, St. Lucie Public Schools graduate, and a proud Greyhound myself. I've been a principal now for 13 years, but I'm most excited about being a principal at Lincoln Park.
So, Ms. Hurst, tell me, what do you make of your selection as Teacher of the Year for LPA?
I was shocked. Truly, I was shocked because we have terrific teachers at LPA. And we have teachers who have been at LPA much longer than I have. You know, so I was really surprised. I couldn't believe it when I was told, actually. And it's been quite the year for me.
Okay.
You know, we had the tornado.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still waiting on a roof at my house.
Oh, wow.
So we come back to school in October, and Dr. Harrington's like, guess what? I was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. I just had tears coming down my face. You said in front of my students were clapping. It was just like, I was shocked.
Have you always known that you wanted to be an educator?
No, I always wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted, since I was little, always wanted to be a doctor. So I went to Syracuse University on a scholarship for pre-med, but I graduated early, so I took a year and went to Thailand through AFS, American Foreign Exchange Program. So I did a half of year of high school in Thailand and a half of year of university at University of Bangkok. So while I was there to get some pocket money and travel money, I tutored English. And I just loved it because they needed English as a requirement and I needed Thai. So it really worked out as this terrific thing, and I enjoyed it. And it was like, wow, this is something I could like really do. So that's where my change of heart kind of started.
So what inspires you?
What inspires me? Wow. When students have those aha moments, or students will stop me in the hall and say, I wish I had had you as my biology teacher. Or where are you going this year? Are you taking our class? We travel to Harbor Branch a lot.
Okay.
And this is the first year I took all my freshmen on the boat trip. They just started a boat trip where they actually use the scientific measuring instruments that they use for the FAU students. So we're out there in the bay using the instruments the college students are using. The kids have their own, Secchi discs and everything. They're dealing with the salt water. We're out there taking pictures of dolphins. They're living, the reason they live in Florida, the reason that, we're a magnet education school. I mean, I teach IB biology 1 and 3 to my 11th and 12th graders, but usually we don't delve that deep for our freshmen and sophomores. So this year we did. And they're amazed at what the opportunities are.
So Dr. Harrington, you have an opportunity to watch this amazement occur every day. Give us a peek into Ms. Hurst's class.
One of the things that makes a great teacher is a teacher who recognizes that what's important isn't just what happens in the classroom. And so when you walk into Ms. Hurst's classroom, the students are fully engaged in any hands-on activity that they're doing, and hands-on activities happen every day. But more importantly, she's always looking for things for students to do outside of the classroom, because she recognizes that that's what makes a well-rounded student.
Choose three adjectives that describe her and share with us why.
I would say the first one is she's passionate. And, we say that a school is made great because teachers have what we call discretionary effort, that they are giving effort they don't have to give. And that's exactly what Ms. Hurst gives every day. And it's because she's so passionate about making sure that the student is taught in total, not just biology, but they're given a well-rounded education. I would say it's engaging. Lots of hands-on activities happen in Ms. Hurst's classroom. She was just describing to me about how they are going to make DNA models, and then they're going to replicate the DNA that happens through DNA replication to get the mRNA, and I hope I just got that right. And she was literally just telling me about an activity they're doing tomorrow in class. So I would say that she's passionate, she's engaging, and she's committed. The job is one that doesn't end when the bell rings at the end of the day for Ms. Hurst.
As an educator, with things that we see, things that affect education, what are you most hopeful about for education?
I like to see students have all the opportunities that they're interested in. Like if I have a student say to me, can we look into manatees? Well, I run the STEM club. I run the Science Bowl club. I have Sending Sunshine club. I work with the IB club. So at least once a week, I'm there till 4 or 5 o'clock with my students doing something. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna take a manatee walk and fill out all the paperwork, get all the field trip forms taken care of. And we go and do that. If I can get a passion out of these students and they can see a future, why not follow it? Grab a hold of that passion, because if you love something, you're gonna do it. If you enjoy my class, you're gonna work hard. I don't only have the high level students, I have every student. Mm-hmm. And my students that aren't typical IB students are scoring at the same level as my IB students. And that's what you want to see. I want to see them love it.
Real world experiences.
And hands-on. And what is out there? We talk about underwater welding because it incorporates chemistry and biology, and we have an amazing underwater welding facility right in Fort Pierce or I'm trying to work on a field trip to go there to bring these kids who want to be engineering students, who want to do civil engineering. Go see it in action. This facility actually works in Japan in the offshore drilling and everything. And it's right here. These kids have no idea the opportunities.
So if you could change one thing in education that would have an impactful difference, what would it be and why?
It would be more hands-on internships, like truly offering them that. If you want to be a plumber, let's do that. Let's have a plumbing program where you work as an apprentice your junior and senior year. You know, just like I have students, they want to be doctors. Well, we're going and we're doing that at FAU. You know, we do our dissections. We do those things because that's your path. But I can't take them and teach them plumbing because I don't know. That's not my thing. But we have amazing craftspeople here and plumbers and electricians. Offer them those internships where they're on a path now.
So what do you say to your students to help them ensure that they will be a success at whatever they chose as a profession?
Follow your passion. If you're passionate, you will be an amazing success and you will achieve. And if I can help you in any way, just message me, email me.
So we ask you to bring along with you a prop that kind of tells us your how and your why each and every day. Share with us at this time.
This is a mesocosm. And what it is, it's an enclosed ecosystem. And my students build these every year. And they are responsible. I give them the water because I have a 55-gallon fish tank. I grow my own plants and everything, so I don't have to worry about plants. But they have to provide the fish and the enclosure. I bring in the soda bottles and stuff. We have people donate pretty much everything to us. And it has to survive for a whole quarter. You don't feed it. You don't water it. It's taped closed. So the fish provides the carbon dioxide and the fertilizer, and the plant provides the oxygen and the algae. The algae literally grows on the bottom of the top of the soda bottle where we have little tiny holes, and he eats the algae, and it's a very enclosed, constantly going ecosystem.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, Dr. Harrington, what makes Ms. Hurst the perfect nominee for this honor?
So we've talked a lot about what LPA is this year, Lincoln Park Academy. And we've said, we call it the LPA standard. For over 2 decades, Lincoln Park Academy has set the standard for academics in St. Lucie Public Schools. And that's exactly what Ms. Hertz does. She sets the standard for science education. She sets the standard for biology education. And she sets the standard for ensuring that every student that comes through her classroom, and even students who don't and are members of the many clubs that she sponsors and organizes, have every opportunity to be successful.
So, Ms. Hurst, the standard bearer, let's wrap it up. As Teacher of the Year at LPA, you are their ambassador for education. What's your message to all of us about education?
It's what you make it. Education can be anything. If the student sees the end of the tunnel and sees that this will get them to where they want to be, to what they want to do, and follows their passion, because everyone has a gift. Some people just take longer to find that gift, but if we can tap into every student's gift, be it a plumber, be it a doctor, be it someone who's a truck driver, everyone is important in this world. And I think we forget that. It takes a community, just like an ecosystem. We all depend on each other. And we haven't seen that more than this year, where everyone has come out after the tornadoes hit the houses. We had people in our community, from the government down to just volunteers walking through and cutting up trees. I mean, doctors, lawyers, everybody's in there with a chainsaw. We didn't look at what do you do or who you are. We look at how we work together. And that's what kids have to see. That's what our students have to see, is they're part of this terrific, amazing world. If they would just look for their gift and follow it, we can do anything.
Ms. Hurst, Dr. Harrington, thank you both for joining us and sharing with us the amazing things that's happening at Lincoln Park Academy and in your science classes. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello to all of our viewers. Welcome back to our show. We have joining us this time Ms. Amanda Torrenson, who is the dynamic Teacher of the Year over at Floresta Elementary. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's brought with her a great friend, the dynamic principal, the proud principal over at Floresta, Mr. John Keeler. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Dr. Perry.
It is a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with both of you about the wonderful things that's happening over at Floresta, but also to congratulate you on your selection as their Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
To get us started, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
I was born and raised as a St. Lucie Public Schools graduate. I got my bachelor's in human resource management with business administration. Then I got my master's in educational leadership, and I'm currently working on my doctorate for instructional leadership. My entire career has been in St. Lucie Public Schools. I taught 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, was a reading interventionist, and now have been a literacy coach for the past 3 years.
And what high school did you graduate from?
Port St. Lucie High.
Port St. Lucie High. Awesome, awesome. Mr. Keeler, introduce yourself, please.
Well, I'm John Keeler. I'm the proud principal, as Dr. Perry said, of Floresta Elementary. I've been an educator in St. Lucie County for the past 23 years. The past 16 years, I've been an administrator, and this is the first year over at Floresta Elementary, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get started. What do you make of your selection as a Teacher of the Year for Floresta?
I honestly was speechless when I got the recognition. As a literacy coach, you usually don't get that recognition because you're not in the classroom. But I am constantly, working with my teachers and working with the students. I show them that I'm like their equal. I'm here to support them. So it was definitely an honor to be recognized by all of them to be selected for this.
What is the most enjoyable part of teaching and or coaching?
Building the capacity. I always thrived on building the capacity of our teachers. I used to even do that when I was a mentor. I used to take on multiple mentees. And then I believe firmly that if we can build the capacity of our teachers, then we can enhance our student autonomy. So that's really where we need to get back to. Students really need to take ownership of their learning and really drive it.
What was the defining moment for you when you realized that you had chosen the right profession?
My first year. It was definitely my first year. I worked at a green school for the first several years, and my very first year, it's actually funny, I'm a career changer. So I came from the human resource side because I was constantly a little bit bored, and I'm like, I've always wanted to be an educator. I had a teacher that was my 3rd grade teacher that inspired me, but I've always been comfortable in the business field. And one year I said, you know what? I'm gonna try it. And if it's meant to be, it'll be. It's gonna be one job, one position, and I got that job. And when I had my first year, I had never subbed, never been in a classroom before, and I ended up being like a model classroom that year. I had some students with various needs and challenges, and I just realized they just needed somebody that was compassionate and really could be there for them. So that's when I fell in love.
You alluded to an influential person. Tell us more about that person.
Well, my 3rd grade teacher, Miss Susie, I loved her. I came from a challenging childhood myself. So she literally took the time, even if it was just the color, to build that relationship with me. And from there, I was able to start to learn how to write, and then I became a good reader. It's kind of funny that I am a literacy coach and I thrive on reading, but I hated it as a child. So she kind of changed that perception for me, and I think that a lot of my success is because of her.
So Mr. Keeler, give us a sneak peek into the work that happens with Ms. Torrenson when she's coaching and working with teachers and students.
So, Ms. Torrenson, what doesn't she do? She does whatever's asked of her. She's in there with the teachers, figuring out the plans, figuring out what needs to be done, the rigor, is it there, is it not there, asking for that feedback from the teachers. She makes the teachers take ownership of that work. She's one of them. You know, she's facilitating it, but at the same time, she's also part of them diving into it, checking, seeing this and that, and then with the students as well. I mean, she's building relationships with the students each and every day. Students run over to give her hugs. She knows certain students. She's helped me with some of the students saying, hey, the background of the student is this and this. You might want to go about this way. It just kind of helps me navigate some of those students as I build my own relationships with them.
So we know that there are many challenges happening in education today. Even with those challenges, what are you most hopeful about for education?
Just to instill the love of learning in every child. Every child's capable of success. I know that we're kids at Hope District and school, and I firmly believe that. I believe that when you have relationships and you prioritize that first, then you have procedures and you're consistent. Every child is capable of learning. Every child is capable of that success and those high expectations. Something that I always tell my teachers and that I did when I was in the classroom was I always ensured that I would never lower the expectations for any of the child, no matter where they were. You would meet them and you would just hold them to the same accountability so that they could grow and thrive. They just need that ace to be in their corner. And I am a lot of students' aces wherever I go because I just thrive on the relationships. And I firmly believe without relationships, you're not going to get very far.
So, Mr. Keeler, choose 3 adjectives to describe Ms. Torson and then share with us why you've chosen those 3.
Okay, so reliable, versatile, and benevolent. Ms. Torson is very reliable. I can count on her to be where she needs to be, doing what she needs to do, or asking her to do something, and the job gets done. No questions asked, and it's done up to the standards that is expected. Versatile, there's nothing she can't do. Honestly, we were just discussing the other day, all right, we had a situation with one of our teachers who's gonna be out for a little bit. I'm thinking, hey, we need to get in there and deliver some instruction. Okay, I gotta rearrange my schedule, but I'm there, I can do that. Without even thinking about it, very versatile. And then benevolent, because she comes from a caring place. She's always caring about the teachers and the students. It's not just, okay, well, we have to get this done because that's what's required. It's, hey, I understand, here's how we need to get done. How can we make that work in the classroom? How can we make that work with our kids?
So, Ms. Torson, what do you regard as one of your greatest personal, professional accomplishments?
I think, honestly, every day. I think every day that I'm at the school, every day I feel like I make a difference in at least one child's life. And I think that that is the greatest accomplishment that anybody can make.
Again, with everything that's going on in education, if you had to have a wish, if I were able to grant you one wish for education, what would that be and why?
The retention of teachers and caring adults. I think that if we could have the perfect world and have every school have a building full of teachers and caring adults, that it would make a significant impact on every child.
You're in an elementary building right now, and 10 and 12 years from now, those students will have graduated from high school. Some of them will be in college, so let's say 15 years from now. When they look back, those students look back, and they remember Ms. Torson, what do you want your legacy with them to be?
I can actually tell you, because I still have students that are in high school that will reach out to me on Teams and tell me every once in a while, hi, how are you? Just checking in, I miss you, I want you to know how much of an impact you made on my life. And these are, the majority of them are the children that had the challenges in 2nd grade and 3rd grade that I had the biggest dreams and hopes for. So honestly, just knowing that I was a positive impact in their life in some way or another, that I believed in them, that I knew that they could make it through school, accomplish any dreams or hopes that they have. The students that reach out to me confirm that. So if I can keep instilling that in all of our youth, then our future generation is going to be wonderful.
Tell me a movie, a TV show, a book, a play that influenced you growing up.
I've never really been a fan of movies or books growing up, like I said, until after 3rd grade. But I will tell you, when I was in 4th grade, I actually won Young Authors here. So it's not necessarily a book or anything that I read or that I've seen. It's more of an accomplishment when I went from being a non-reader to writing this story and winning it for St. Lucie Public Schools back then at Garden City.
So your own book is your favorite book. Yes, yes. Okay, speed round, speed round.
Okay.
I'm going to throw some favorites out at you and ask you to respond as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Italian.
Restaurant?
Tutto fresco.
Movie?
Anything that is science fiction or thriller.
Sports team?
I don't really have a favorite sports team, but I have to root for my husband, which is FSU, and I have to root for my son, who is a baseball, and he is the Angels.
Okay, okay. Favorite song?
I don't have a favorite song.
Favorite quote or motivational saying?
My favorite quote is, "Believe you can and you're halfway there."
So we ask you to bring with you a prop.
Yes.
And to show us that prop and explain to us how and why it's important for you as a teacher.
Okay, so my prop is a little different. It's actually an envelope full of things that have been given to me by students and by teachers and by mentors. This is like my positive go-to. So anytime I need a moment or a friendly reminder, because you know we always have those stressful days, sometimes I'll pop into a classroom that just makes me happy to see kids, and then sometimes I'll just look through this and I'll see different things that other people have written for me, teachers, students, and like I said, previous leadership teams.
So, Mr. Keeler, what makes Ms. Torreson the perfect candidate for this honor?
She's just the epitome of what you want to have as an educator. She's dedicated, she works hard at her job, and she works well with teachers and tries to get the best out of every teacher, and she works with the students and gets the best out of every student as well. While she's on campus, there's nothing she won't do and there's nothing she doesn't do.
So, Ms. Torreson, let's wrap it up. All across our community, our viewers want to hear from educators about education. You are the ambassador for education at Floresta. What's your message?
My message is it takes a village. We need family and community support. It can't just be the teacher or the student. When we all work cohesively together, obviously there's been a lot of research on it, but students are more capable of excelling with their academics and closing those academic gaps that they might have. So I would say communication needs to be a #1 priority with teachers and with schools and the community and then families. And we can just build our next presidents and stuff. So.
Thank you both for joining us, Mr. Keeler, Ms. Torreson. It's been a pleasure having this opportunity to speak with both of you. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello to all of our wonderful viewers. We're excited to have you joining with us again as we welcome to the show Melissa Stubblefield, who is the wonderful Teacher of the Year over at St. Lucie Elementary School. Welcome.
Yes, thank you.
She's brought along with her Kathy Potenza, who is the very, did I say very, proud principal there.
Very
Welcome
proud.
to the show.
Hi, good afternoon, Dr. Perry.
Ladies, it's a great opportunity for me to speak with you as we celebrate teaching, celebrate teachers here in St. Lucie County by introducing to our viewers some of the brightest and the best who also represent the brightest and the best educators that we know around. With that said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. My name is Melissa Stubblefield. I've been teaching for 18 years now. I have been in the school district here for 5 years, but I taught in Philadelphia for 13 years as well. And came down here to the nice warm weather. It's a little chilly up there today.
Oh, yeah.
With some snow. And have really enjoyed being a physical educator and a health teacher as well.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome. Ms. Potenza, would you introduce yourself?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Kathy Potenza. I'm the proud principal of St. Lucie Elementary. This is my 4th year in that role. I started at St. Lucie 8 years ago and love every single day and every single moment.
So, Ms. Stubblefield, what do you make of your selection as the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Elementary?
Well, I'm extremely honored and proud and just excited to represent my school and my students and faculty and staff. It's just a really exciting time and very grateful. So my family and I, we started this new year. You know, everybody has their New Year's resolutions, and every day we say what we're grateful for at the end of the evening during dinner time. And this was my first one. This is what I said for my first year of being a Teacher of the Year, and being grateful that I was selected. So I'm very happy and honored.
Great, great, great. Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes. So I wouldn't say always, but when I got into high school, that is where I kind of channeled that energy. I was very active in different sports teams, played 3 different sports, and played sports in college as well. And I have a very long family history of teachers. My mom, my sister, my dad, my aunt were all teachers as well, and that really guided me towards that path. I loved being part of the school community and being able to connect with students and families and just being a part of something bigger than myself.
So, what do you find to be one of the most enjoyable parts of teaching?
So, kids. I really have to say the kids. You know, when things get stressful, as they do sometimes, the kids really bring you down to earth and really humble you to their experience and their wonder and their curiosity. And I really love their eagerness to learn and try new things and see them flourish in, you know, a different realm. Being a PE teacher, I get to see them more active and try and have different challenges physically, as well as mentally as well, because physical activity, you know, uses both those avenues, and really see them make strides and achieve things that they never thought they would be able to do.
So, Ms. Bates, Ms. Potenza, you have an opportunity to watch what happens in the wonderful world of Ms. Stubblefield every day. Share with us.
So when she, referred to herself as being grateful, we're super grateful for Melissa and the contribution she makes to St. Lucie Elementary. She kind of sells herself short when she talks about just the avenue of PE. She does so much more. So she is the co-chair of our PBIS committee and integral in all of our PBIS initiatives and PBIS events. But she also works on the academic side, which you don't typically see from a PE teacher. And so she works with small groups, providing support in the classroom with our staff. She's done that over the last few years, especially as St. Lucie Elementary has grown and finally gotten off of the state list. Melissa was integral in that. She is the chair of the resource team. And really just ensures that they are active members of the St. Lucie Elementary community. She just really is integral. I'm truly blessed because I was the person that interviewed her 5 years ago in the midst of COVID. And to say I was a little leery to hire someone that was a high school PE coach and bring them down to the elementary realm was kind of, yeah, are you sure you want to do this? And she just really, the resounding vote for her for Teacher of the Year was by far surpassed anyone else that was nominated for Teacher of the Year at St. Lucie Elementary, because everyone sees the contributions that she makes outside of just teaching PE. I say that with a grain of salt because she is just so much more to our school.
So, Ms. Stubblefield, if you could change one thing in education that would have an impactful difference on children, on learning, on the profession, what would it be and why?
Smaller class sizes. That is definitely something that I recognized during COVID, and when we had, our half of the school was virtual learners, the other half was in person, and it was just, I was able to connect and see those students and really felt like I had a bigger impact on them, and I feel like teachers would be able to have a larger impact on smaller class sizes. So that's definitely something that I feel like would be helpful for all teachers, K to 12.
So, Ms. Potenza, Choose 3 adjectives describing Ms. Stubblefield and share with us those adjectives and why.
I will say she's certainly a dedicated educator. There's no task too big or too small. She's just dedicated to kids. Highly engaging. She's the life of everything at St. Lucie Elementary. She's the life of her classroom. She's the life of the social aspects, which really contribute to the culture and the community building. Our parents love her. Our kids love her. The staff loves her. There's no one that speaks ill of Melissa. I mean, I'm just being brutally honest. Like she's just a well-rounded human being. And let's see, dedicated, engaging, and committed. She's committed to the vision of St. Lucie Elementary, and like I said earlier, contributed to the instructional growth that our students made. Again, you don't typically see that from a PE educator, and she just jumped right in and takes any task that we put forth and owns it.
So what inspires you?
On a daily basis, I would say human connection. Human connection with my students, with my staff, and parents as well. I love being able to, in the mornings and in the afternoons, I get to start my day by welcoming students. I'm in the parent drop-off line, get to say good morning to families as well and connect with them and really help make their process a positive one. And I really try to make my interactions with everyone on campus really positive and try to bridge that gap to connect with them. So human connection is really, an inspiration for me.
So I'm your genie, and I'm going to grant you one wish for education. What would that one wish be?
I would say probably for everybody to, I really want to say financial, so everybody has the resources and needs that without basing things off of, test scores and things like that. And I know we need assessments, but so everybody can really raise their bar and not have to worry about those financial restraints on, the impact that it has on a school.
10, 12, 15 years from now, your students will be graduating from high school and or college.
Yes.
And they're going to look back on their elementary years.
Absolutely.
What do you want your legacy with them to be? What do you want them to say?
I want them to be able to have and remember, those core memories that create their elementary PE experience and know and understand the joy of being physically active and be able to branch off and try new things and not be scared to trip and stumble and know that they can succeed and know that, they had me, cheering them on and giving them the most confidence that, they could have in trying new things.
So we're going to play a game of favorites. I'm going to throw some out at you, and you give me your quick response.
Let's hear it.
Favorite food?
Tacos.
Favorite restaurant?
Elvez or Casamigos. Good one.
Favorite movie?
Wicked right now.
Ooh, can't wait for part 2 to come out. Okay.
I've already seen it multiple times.
Yeah,
So.
all righty. Favorite sports team?
Philadelphia Eagles coming through.
Favorite song?
Level Up by Sierra. I was listening to it on my way over here.
And favorite quote or motivational saying?
Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Is there a movie or a TV show, a book that influenced you growing up?
Yeah, so during my college years, in the summertime, I read often. I mean, you have to read a lot, but it was more reading for leisure. And a book that really stuck with me was a book called Tuesdays with Morrie. And it was about an older student that was visiting his professor who was dying, and just the life lessons that he was passing on to him and the connections that he had made with all of his students that were coming back to see him really motivated me to be that person, to make those connections with kids. And I love that I still talk to my athletes and students from Philadelphia and hear about, their weddings and baby showers and big life events that they still want to share with me because we've made that, connection and they know that I care.
So, Ms. Potenza, What makes Ms. Stubblefield the perfect candidate for this honor?
I think she's a perfect candidate because she doesn't fit in a box, right? She really just, everything she does is outside the box. From her morning connections with our families, which is really, really important, particularly in our community, to the connections she makes with our staff, to the connections she makes with our kids. Even the most reluctant students go to her. This year she sponsored our safety patrols and really built that up to build that sense of community and pride with our students, working with small groups of students in academic settings. She just really, I can't say she fits in a box. And so I think her most endearing quality is that she takes on every challenge head first, doesn't back down from it, and really brings everyone else along for the ride.
So, Ms. Stubblefield, your voice is important to education because you are the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie. Ms. Potenza has visitors on campus. They want to know what's your message. What would you say?
So my message would really just be that, you know, being able to break down barriers of our students that we see every day, and being able to allow teachers and families to connect to help build the village, you know, that students need to succeed. That we want to be able to make those connections without the barriers and red tape that sometimes come in the way due to testing restrictions or, you know, things of that nature. And it's so important that teachers are able to have that freedom to make those connections with students, because at, you know, the end of the day, it's how you make that student feel that they remember the longest time.
Well, ladies, thank you both for joining us and for sharing with us and our viewers on this highlight show. Again, it's a peek into the lives of the wonderful teachers that we have here in St. Lucie Public Schools and the work that's going on many of our campuses. And Mr. Stubblefield, congratulations on your selection.
Thank you, Dr. Perry.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello to all of our wonderful viewers. Welcome to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We are so excited to have with us at this time Lindsay Harris, who's the wonderful teacher over at St. Lucie West K-8 School. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
She's brought along my very dear friend and brother, the proud principal there, Mr. Joseph Lazo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Perry.
It is a pleasure to have both of you today and to speak with you, of course, about your wonderful school, but to the Teacher of the Year there. It's an exciting time for us because we get to share with our community some of the dynamic teachers who represent the brightest and the best near and far. With that said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. I come from a military family. I moved to the area when I was about 16 and then moved away, went to FSU for college, came back. I actually was in a completely different career path to start with. I got into education in the 2018 to 2019 school year, and so this is my 7th year at St. Lucie West K-8, and I have been there ever since. I taught 8th grade U.S. history for 3 years, and now I am in 6th, 7th, and 8th social studies and have been there. This is my 4th year in that position.
So did you graduate high school here?
I did. I went to Centennial.
Oh, we got to get that plug in. We got to get that plug in.
I
the
did.
Centennial grad, one of our homegrown. Yes, yes. Mr. Lazo, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lazo, the proud principal of St. Lucie K-8. This is year number 24 for me in St. Lucie Public Schools. This is year number 3 as the principal of St. Lucie West, Shark Nation. It's proud and honored to be there. I am also a homegrown product of St. Lucie Public Schools, and I am glad to be here.
Since you said that, make sure you tell them what school you graduated from, Mr. Lizzo.
Port St. Lucie High School Jaguars, home of the Jags.
Yes. So, Ms. Harris, what do you make of your selection as the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie West K-8?
I think it's a very validating nomination. There's a lot of work that goes into being a teacher just on a normal basis, going from the very beginning years of teaching to continuing to grow and want to gain more of a global perspective of schools and their operations. So I think that all of the different positions that I've held outside of the classroom but still on my campus have led me to this position, and it's nice to be recognized by my peers, and it's nice to show my students even that when you work very hard for something, even if it's maybe something that goes unnoticed for a little bit, it does eventually come out and you get to see the product of your hard work.
Have you always known that you wanted to be an educator?
No, I have not. I actually went to school for criminology and psychology, and that was my first career. And then I ended up in teaching. I joke on accident, but I'm so happy to be in education now, and I truly don't see myself anywhere else.
So what's been most enjoyable for you as a teacher?
My kids make me laugh every single day, and so that is, I love
school.
that. Yeah, the look of terror on people's faces when I tell them that I love teaching middle school is really funny to me. But no, I love when my students of all learning abilities get to make the connections in my classroom, and I love watching that light in them, and I love watching them become more confident and sure of themselves as they get throughout the school year, because education is not just about what they're learning on paper, but also what's going on in their development as a person.
So, Mr. Lizzo, you are the person that has an opportunity to watch this wonderful work occur every day. Give us a sneak peek into the class.
Well, first and foremost, you're going to see a dynamic teacher every time you walk in there. Actively engaged students, great dialogue of conversation. Students are actively learning. That's one of the assets that she brings to the social studies department, and she also helms as the department chair, our collaborative planning facilitator as well, really diving into the data to see where can we make the improvements of our school. And she challenged me last year. She says, Ms. Lizzo, I'm willing to forego one of my sections so I can help the school achieve the school goal of getting that A. And I accepted that challenge, and she has done a phenomenal job for us in that role as a civics teacher, not only civics, social studies, and U.S. history. It's a dynamic place for her to be. It's a great place that I would love to just showcase everyone to come see what does active engagement looks like. Mrs. Harris's class is it.
You know, Ms. Harris, keep challenging your principal, because it sounds like something that he did when I was his principal, when he reminded me that I did tell him that he was the lead teacher in 5th grade. So I just had to give in like he did. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I had to get that one in. Ms. Lizzo, let's talk about Ms. Harris again. Choose 3 adjectives for me that describe her, and then tell us why those 3.
Yeah. Intelligence. Absolutely. A very smart young lady. One thing that Ms. Harris has not shared yet was that she just completed her elite program, earning her master's degree, and wanting to take her skill sets to the next level and become an administrator, where she can have that global viewpoint, as she talked about, and how the operations of the school works. She will be a phenomenal administrator moving forward when the opportunity comes knocking. Also, very smart. Communicator. She communicates very well, not just to me, but to her team, to her students, to her families, most importantly, where she's truly making that connection and making that bridge from home to school connection. And last but not least, she's loyal. Absolute loyal. Her loyalty, and not just to St. Lucie West K-8, but to her colleagues, to her students, it shows each and every day. Her students run to her door to come and greet her each and every day. And as she says, they make her laugh, but it's the same interaction. You can see she's making her students laugh. And that laughter is radiating throughout our campus to our kids, where kids who left St. Lucie West K-8 always want to come back and say, well, where's Mrs. Harris? Where's Mrs. Harris? I want to go see Mrs. Harris. That's the impact of that relationship that you just don't have. That's something that you just is by accident. That's intentional. that's practical. That is what she brings to our school.
So, Ms. Harris, if you can change one thing in education that makes a major difference, what would that be and why?
If I could change one thing in education, I wish that I could change people's perspective of what students are capable of. You know, I know that we have a lot of labels for our students, and those range from perceived inability to extraordinary ability. And I wish that, you know, Mr. Lizzo talked about the ESE group that I had last year that I asked for so that I could truly reach all the students on our campus. I wish that people understood how capable every single child is, and that labels are just labels. They're not boundaries for our students, that they're a continuation of the student's frame and this picture that they're going to continue to build in their entire lives. And after they leave us, after they graduate high school, I wish that people could see that students are so much more than the perception and the boundaries that we seem to place them under.
So let's have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
We're going to play a speed round of favorites. I'll throw some things at you. You respond back.
Okay.
Favorite restaurant?
My kitchen.
Uh-oh. Sounds like an invitation, Mr. Lizzo. Favorite food?
I'm ready.
Sushi.
I'll pass. Favorite movie?
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay, thank you. Favorite sports team?
FSU.
Favorite song?
Mirror Ball by Taylor Swift.
Okay. And favorite quote or motivational saying?
Oh, my favorite one for myself is, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
So, growing up, was there a TV show or a movie, a play, a book maybe, that influenced you?
There was this one independent film that my siblings and I have 3 siblings, that we watched. It was called Quest for Camelot. And there was like dragons and this very strong female lead, and she goes on a journey to do what's best for her community. And that sounds very like teacher of me, but her dad passes away, and she has to go and she has to fight for Camelot, which is, you know, where she lives in this movie. And she is the only one who can do it. And she could have sat back and done nothing, but she goes out there and sticks her neck out for everybody. And she doesn't have to. And I found her very inspiring when I was growing up.
Mr. Lizzo, what makes her the prime candidate for this honor?
Well, she was selected by her peers first and foremost. We do a selection process. 3 candidates are selected, and she had to sell herself to the faculty and staff and the committee that we put together at St. Lucie West K-8, and she was selected as the Teacher of the Year. And what I see each and every day is evident on the selection process is someone who is really gung-ho for not only her students, but for her team and for the school. And this is why she is a product of St. Lucie Public Schools as well. And I want to just exemplify all the great things that she does each and every day at our school center. And it shows. She's a radiant, brighting star. She's a gem to have on campus.
So, Mrs. Harris, we ask you to bring along with you a prop that kind of shows our audience that influences you. Share your prop with us.
Okay, so I have this glittery, sparkly golden duck. One of my first years of teaching, I think it was my 2nd year, I had a student who brought me a tiny little rubber duck and set it on my desk and said, "I'm so excited to give this to you. I thought of you this weekend and I wanted to bring this to you." And so we set it on my desk, and then my student said, "Oh, you love rubber ducks?" And I said, "I've actually never thought about rubber ducks in my life." But then they all thought that I loved rubber ducks, so it just kind of became this running joke. But and then this is one of the larger ducks that I've received. I probably have about 65 in my closet at this point, a lot. But I just think it's a symbol of the relationship that I have with my kids and the jest that I have with them. You know, we can go back and forth, but then we also know when it's time to buckle in. And I was just having a conversation with my kids today about how I can sit here and I can facilitate anything to them, but they are truly the ones that work so hard, and they do it for themselves. It's not for me, it's not for anybody else. And so empowering them and fostering this community in my classroom, I think, has led to my golden duck. And just the culmination of all of that really is the reason for my prop.
So, Mr. Lizzo, is there anything else that you'd like to share with us about the amazing Lindsay Harris?
We're excited to have Mrs. Harris at our school center, and each and every day she's a joy and delight to be with. I've had the opportunity to mentor Mrs. Harris doing this elite program, so we had some great conversation, really diving deep into like the school operations, and she is truly one for knowledge. She mentioned the quote that if you're not learning, you're not growing. And so she is definitely not going to be stagnant in what she does. And that growth mindset is going to take her a long way. And I'm excited for her next adventures.
So, Ambassador for Education is what we call the person that's selected as the Teacher of the Year at their sites. You have many visitors at your site. You'll be in the public, and people will want to know, as a Teacher of the Year, you're an educator. So what's so good? What's so right? What do they need to hear from you? What's your message?
So one of the things that I took from my graduate program that Mr. Lazo mentioned was that schools are a learning center, and they're not a learning center for students only. They're a learning center for everybody on campus. And a friend said to me several years ago that when you think you know everything, you actually know nothing. And I think it's important that as school centers that we continue to grow at all levels of the administration. You know, as I continue to go in my career, I want to continue to learn, and I want to be this learner for the rest of my life, and I want to make sure that everybody on school campus, that I can inspire others. You know, my students, they might not be teachers, but I want them to also know that when they continue to go on their path in their life, that they are going to be lifelong learners, and that the rest of us are as well.
If you're not learning, you're not growing. Awesome. Congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year. Mr. Lazo, Ms. Harris, thank you for joining us today on the show, and thank you for sharing with all of our wonderful, beautiful audience members about the brightest and the best that we have here in St. Lucie Public Schools.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello once again, and welcome to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. I have joining me tonight the wonderful, dynamic educator from Southern Oaks Middle School, Miss April Rogers, who is their Teacher of the Year. Welcome.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with you. I'm sure you know that this time of the year we are really hyping educators, but this show gives us an opportunity to introduce some of them to our viewing audience and let them see how these people that we are speaking with represent the brightest and the best near and far. So again, welcome. Briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name is April Rogers. I was born and raised and educated in St. Lucie County Public Schools.
Yes.
My mom and dad were both teachers in St. Lucie County for 30 years. And so I feel like I was born into the St. Lucie County Public School system.
What school did you graduate from?
Fort Pierce Central High School.
We got to get that plug in. Once a Cobra, always a Cobra.
Always a Cobra. My boys are, my son just graduated from there, and my second son is there now.
Okay, cool.
That's where my husband and I met. So it's very cool to have both of our children go to the same high school as us.
Of course. A total family is what we call it.
A total family.
So, Mr. Rogers, what do you make as your selection as a Teacher of the Year for Southern Oaks?
Oh, that's a fun question. I guess in the back of my mind, I think it validates my decision to go back to doing something I really love and going back into the classroom. What do I make of it? Whew. I think it's pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. I would agree with you. So I know you mentioned mom and dad, and that you were kind of born into it. Tell me about the influence that mom and dad might have had on your decision or the way you approach your craft each day.
Well, in the beginning, I never wanted to be a teacher. My mom and dad told me, oh, don't go into education, don't do it. You know, I went up to be a veterinarian and found out I was allergic to cats. And so I did take the allergy shots, did all the science, biology stuff, and then sat for the LSATs, and literally something changed in me and said, you know what, I really just want to go back and I want to teach school. And my mom and dad were a little, you know, miffed about it. They really value teaching and they value education, and that's what I saw growing up. But, you know, it's a challenging job. And, you know, it's not one that's going to make you the highest dollar out there in the world, but they supported me when I came back and decided to teach right here in St. Lucie County. watching them be able to just, any grocery store we go into, hey, Miss Rowe, hey, Mr. Rowe, I remember you, you used to be my teacher, blah, blah, blah. I mean, people in their 30s and 40s,
Oh, yeah.
50s now. My dad is almost 80 years old, so he has students, you know, that have children and grandchildren, and it's weird because the exact same thing has started to happen to me. I have kids that I taught in school 20-something years ago that now have children of their own that are bringing their kids to school. And so I think watching my mom and dad's dedication to people and how much that dedication meant to others, I think that inspired me to want to do it.
So tell me, what do you find most enjoyable about teaching?
That I get to be creative. I'm a little ADHD, and I don't like to stay on one thing all of the time. I know that I worked for a dentist when I was in high school from age 13 to I was 19 by the time I left. And he wanted to send me to dental school, and I have to tell you, it was the most routine job. And it's the same thing over and over and over again. And I just knew that I needed to pick a profession where I got to be creative. I got to do something different. There was something always going to happen, and I had to be on my feet with it. I couldn't do something that was just every day the same routine.
So knowing that you thought about being a veterinarian, when did you fall in love with teaching?
Oh, well, this is going to be a funny answer. I fell in love with teaching when I fell in love with my husband. I was in high school, and he was failing high school. And we met when we were 15, and he was 18 years old and was having to pass, you know, algebra. And I remember sitting and tutoring him, and the success I got in being able to know that I helped him be able to get out of high school, that was one thing that always, you know, it came back to my mind, like, I'm really good at this. I can really do this.
So being a product of an education family, an educator yourself, what do you consider to be the greatest challenge facing education today?
Okay. Education is a complex system, and there's a lot of challenges, but I feel like one of the greatest needs, I'd say, or the major problem that I think I see in education is the lack of qualified teaching staff that is willing to come on board. Because I remember when my mom and dad were teaching, people who wanted to get into education, that was what they wanted to do. They went into it with that mindset. They did a year or 2 years of internship where they really learned the craft. And right now, due to budgetary issues, due to all kinds of issues, we're not able to fill up classrooms with teachers that, you know, they do have the desire to be there, they just don't have all the skills and the craft, and they're having to learn it like under fire, like throw them in, and they have to figure out so much about the complex system of how to teach students. It's not just standing there and delivering a lesson. A quality teacher requires a lot of different skills, and unfortunately there's no time to train before they get into that classroom setting. And there are many times where there's holes, you know, where we're putting long-term subs at the beginning of a year because we can't find enough people who want to actually join the education field and become dynamic teachers.
So if you could change one thing in education that would have a major impact, what would it be and why?
Well, the status, obviously, of the teaching profession, the amount of awareness as to how much goes into the day. Smaller class sizes, I know Addie says that, you know, class size doesn't necessarily have that great of an impact, but efficacy of teachers does. And if we could get higher quality educators along with smaller class sizes so that we could do more individualized small group instruction with students so that we have a greater impact face-to-face, I think that would probably be my wish for education, is we could get more help in the field.
You're in a middle school setting, so you have an opportunity to share with students, but also to share with their parents. What would you say to some parents of students that you may be teaching to help them ensure that their child will be a success?
I teach middle school, so you know what I'm going to say. Those cell phones have to go. They have to go. The kids are addicted, and they're not addicted to things that are going to help mature their minds or help them provide historical background to something. Yes, the internet and technology, there are so many great things out there, but our kids aren't looking for those things, and they're spending so much time, so much valuable time on things that don't matter, and they're constantly worried about getting to that cell phone that they're not focused. And I believe there's a lot of data coming out now with technology and the addictive behaviors that happen and the lack of focus in our kids.
So growing up, you had those wonderful educator parents, but is there a book, a movie, a play, a TV show that kind of influenced you?
I'm an English major. There's a million books that influenced me. I remember when I was really little, I think I was probably the biggest G.I. Joe fan. Like, I loved G.I. Joe. They always had some like moral to the story at the end, and knowing is half the battle. And I know I quote that to my kids all the time, knowing is half the battle. If you can learn something new each day and learn how to approach life with a different mindset, you're winning.
Speed round. I'm going to throw some favorites at you, and you respond. Favorite food?
Oysters.
Oh, favorite restaurant?
Harry's.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oh, there's so many favorite movies. How can you do that to me? I love Forrest Gump. I really do. I love all the music in it.
Favorite sports team?
University of Florida Gators. I went there, played there. Yeah.
Favorite song?
Little Miss by Sugarland.
And favorite quote or motivational saying?
Oh, there's so many. I'll do the one that I use on myself. Work as if it all depends upon you, but pray as if it all depends upon God.
So we asked you to bring along a prop with you.
I did.
And to share with us why and how it's meaningful as an educator. Share with us.
Okay, so this is tiny little wooden carving. Probably doesn't matter much to anyone else, but I've had an interesting round in education. I started as a teacher, and I worked, got an educational leadership degree. I got opportunity to be an assistant principal. I've been a dean 2 different times. Both times I went in kicking and screaming, because discipline is not the fun area of education. No one's ever happy in that world, but I did the job well, and I just wish people would give more praise to the people that have to work in that department. But I've done everything from instructional coaching, and I had gotten to a point where I wasn't finding the joy that I used to find in education. You can get boggled down with all of the problems and trying to be the problem solver. And I wanted to go back to figuring out what I wanted to do with the rest of my career. No one knew I was doing that in my head. I just kept thinking about it. So I drove out to Yellowstone National Park about 1.5 years ago to pick up my goddaughter from San Francisco. And we spent some time in Yellowstone. And when I was there, had some heart-to-heart with myself and with God, and did a lot of talking. And I decided I wanted to go back to where you can make a real difference every day, because that's where education is in the classroom. And so I bought this after I had made that decision at one of those little gift shops in Yellowstone, and I just set it on my desk. And of course, I had a few, wavering moments. People call you and they hear that, you're wanting to do something different. And, I had interviews for several other positions that I kept getting offered, and I kept saying, no, I want to go back in the classroom. I don't want to be a literacy coach. I want to go back in the classroom. And I finally was able to, find where I wanted to be. And then the first thing I put in the classroom was this when I went back.
Your reminder.
It's my reminder that I chose well. I'm very happy with my decision.
So, as the Teacher of the Year, at Southern Oaks. We need a message from you for the public because you are their ambassador. Share with us.
A message for the public. Our future rests in our kids. And if we don't start investing in the most important people in our nation, and that is the next generation that will lead us, then we are lost. We have to put our time, effort, money, our priorities back into educating the youth of our country so that we can be a competitive country and we can actually find, success.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for meeting our viewing audience and for sharing up with us. And congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year for Southern Oaks Middle School.
Thank you so much, Dr. Perry.
It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello, and once again, we are proud to greet our viewing audience. We have with us Dr. Jacqueline Van Zen, who is the Dynamic Teacher of the Year over at Village Green Elementary School. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
It is a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And she's brought along my good friend, Mrs. Boria, who is the proud principal there. Welcome.
That's right, proud. Thank you, Dr. Perry. Great to be here.
We are excited about this show because it gives us the opportunity to show off the great teachers that we have in St. Lucie Public Schools, and just to remind our audience that you represent the best of the best, near and far. With that said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers for me, please?
Yes, I am Jacqueline Van Zen. I am originally from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. I am the proud mother of 2, the proud wife of 1. I have 2 fur babies, and I am a mentor friend to many.
Awesome, awesome.
I received my bachelor's, then my master's, and I still didn't get enough, so I figured I'd go ahead and wrap it up with a bow, and I went and got my leadership degree.
Awesome. I think I kind of thought the same thing. Just wasn't enough. And I see that you're a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Yes, I am.
Okay, my sister organization. Ms. Boria, introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Aisha Bori. I am, like you said, the proud principal of Village Green Environmental Studies. I started my education career 19 years ago in Broward County and spent 17 years of that here in St. Lucie County, where I taught at Westgate and led at Fort Pierce Central, Southern Oaks, and now at Village Green as the principal.
So Doc, describe for me the feeling that you received when you were told that you were the Teacher of the Year for your site.
That feeling, I think I would always keep with me. It was a warm feeling to know that my colleagues saw something worthy in me as one of those precious gems, and I was worthy to be bestowed of such honor. So it was, oh no, not me. Oh yes, why not me? And yay, it's me.
Yeah, yeah. So have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
That's a very sticky situation. I think deep down inside, I knew, but I rejected it. Mm-hmm. And I rejected it for several reasons. I rejected it simply because it was a profession that I loved when I was with my 5th grade teacher. She made everything so easy, seamless, and a little tidbit on the side is I had a crush on her son. But besides that, as I ventured through high school, I realized that it wasn't respected. And I didn't want to be involved in a profession that wasn't respected. So therefore, I backed away from it, but I kept going through life unfulfilled.
So tell me, knowing what you know now and your experiences, what do you enjoy most about teaching?
What I enjoy most about teaching is that connection I have with my students. I enjoy waking up every day to see their eager faces wanting more. Even though they might not think that they want more, they really do. I enjoy not only the aha moment, but the oh no moments where they think that I'll never get this. And I have to, I don't think it's work, but I engage with them some more to show them that it's possible, that hard things are still possible to achieve.
So, Ms. Boria, you have an opportunity to watch that magic come alive every day.
Yes.
Give us a sneak peek into that class. Let us know what's going on.
Walking into that classroom right away, you definitely hear the words, we can and we will. We can and we will. The kids are working, they're engaged in lessons. She always uses some type of prop, manipulative, to get kids involved in real world situations. She has conversations with her students. She engages them. She questions them. They find the answers. They're inquisitive. Walking into that classroom, I see kids that are inspired. I see kids wanting more. They want to achieve, and they do achieve. Right now, Dr. Ven's class sitting at one of the tops in the district for science, and top in math and unit assessments. They are soaring because Dr. Van Zen takes the time to give it to them, to plan for them, to believe in them. When you walk in that class, it's just the aroma of learning, the aroma of excellence, the aroma of anything is possible. That's what I see, that's what I feel, that's what I experience in a room. And kids are exploring, they're innovative, they're creating, they're inquisitive, they're asking questions, and they believe in themselves.
So describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why you've chosen those 3.
Number 1, she is determined. Dr. Van Zen doesn't take no for an answer. She believes that every child can succeed, and they do. She's an advocate for children. And she will work not only with students, but she also works closely with her colleagues. She's determined not only for her class to succeed, but her colleagues to succeed, the school to succeed. Her determination is very evident. Number 2, she's passionate. She's not only passionate about education, but she's passionate about life. She wants students to do well in the classroom as well as outside of the classrooms. She's always finding ways to support families in need, students in need, any supplies they need, any support, resources, she's there. When it comes to training others and inspiring the new people that come on campus, Dr. Van Zen is right there, front and center, because the passion that she has, she wants to make sure the new teachers have as well. So she empowers others. And the third one that I would choose for her is she's innovative. She will go to any conference that she can go to, come back with the materials, and find new ways of teaching, not only for her classroom, but she recently grabbed 3 of the science teachers, 4th and 5th grade, and said, hey, I went to this conference. There's some innovative ways we can teach. And already she has all 3 of them displaying those strategies in their classroom. So she's always looking for new ways of doing things in the classroom and outside the classroom.
So Dr. Vinzen, if you had an opportunity to speak with a new teacher, what advice would you share with them?
For a new teacher, my advice would be to enjoy the process, to let yourself know it's okay to make mistakes. I would tell them to surround themselves with, mentors that can guide them along the way, and in rough days, they might need to lean on those mentors. I would also tell them to take time to take care of themselves and to breathe. Because it can get overwhelming. Many days can get overwhelming, but you have to keep going back to the reason why you teach. And that love and that joy and that power and that empowerment, will reignite. So it's a daily reignition of who you are.
So when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I love that question. I believe that I first fell in love with teaching when I was given the opportunity to have my own classroom, because I subbed for years, but having the opportunity to get in that classroom, a classroom of my own, that I consider my own, and students, I realized that it was not only scary, but I was ready for that challenge. And just the joy of them walking in the door that first day, greeting me as their teacher, and the way they looked at me, as like I had all the answers, which and I'm like, ooh, I don't. But just the way they looked at me, I really felt that this is something special. I can live with this feeling forever.
If you could change one thing in education to have a major impact, what might that be?
If I could change one thing, it would be currently the views that society, I would say, have on teachers right now. That view needs to be more positive. We are struggling daily to look to find the brightest and the best for teaching. So I think that that finding teachers or empowering our teachers to feel good about their profession and also showcasing that to others would be the route to go.
We ask you to bring along a prop with you. And with that prop, we want you to share how and why it's meaningful to you as a teacher. Let's do that now.
Okay. I am going to, I was struggling with two props, but really they're like two in one. And I'll explain why. The first one I have is my grandmother's homecoming ceremony. And my grandmother was a very strong advocate for education. She didn't have one herself, but she always pushed education. She always instilled in me the importance of an education, not to make excuses and not to say why it can't happen, but she kept pushing. So the next one I have is my fifth grade yearbook. It's interesting. In my fifth grade yearbook, the profession that I ran from so much, in 19, I won't say blah, blah, it tells me that when it asks what's my future career, it says teacher. And to me, it came full circle when I went back and I looked at this book to know that the profession that I ran away from is something that gives me joy. And I knew that joy was there all along, but I think I was running from it. But God has a way of bringing us back full circle.
So, Ms. Boria, tell us, what makes Dr. Vinson the perfect candidate for this honor?
You want a teacher that not only empowers students, but empowers the environment around her. That means teachers, staff. Dr. Vinson understands the power of not only believing in students and doing everything possible to ensure that they are successful, but she also has a passion to empower her colleagues and the people around her. One of the questions you asked earlier was the hashtag. What hashtag would I give her? And it'll be hashtag to succeed always. Because when I look at Dr. Van Zen, she's the best candidate because not only does she represent St. Lucie County and an excellence of teaching and the belief that all students can and will succeed, she will do anything possible to make sure that happens. And I know that being that she does it for Village Green, given the opportunity, she'll do it for our county, she'll do it for our state. She's about bringing light, as she said, to education and making sure there's a strong importance to it. And she will do the research. She will find ways to not only ensure that we are being innovative in the way we're teaching our students, but we're empowering others to want to be in education, to be inspired, and to raise young men and women to be successful.
So, Dr. Vinson, final question for you. Your selection as the Teacher of the Year at Village Green automatically makes you their voice. You are their ambassador. What's your message to our public?
The message to the public, I would say, would be let's empower our teachers. Let's provide opportunities where the community could be involved and go further and try to ignite some of the qualified teachers back into this profession. There's a program that we have, Promise. A promise is a promise. And that program really tries the promise to teachers or upcoming people to be attracted to the profession. They also do this in, I think at IRSC, to different professions. But I would like for the teaching profession to be highlighted, teachers to be more empowered, teachers to fall in love with the profession again. Not those who are in the system, not only those who are coming, but those who are existing, that they could reignite that fire, feel empowered once again. So my message would be to focus on our teachers, and not on the negative, but on the positive. And see if we could do more to promote Promise is a Promise, and see how we could encourage others to want to be a part of this fine profession.
Dr. Vincent, Ms. Boria, thank you so much for joining us on this Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show. It's been a pleasure speaking with both of you, and congratulations, Doc, on your selection as Village Green's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello again, and welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show 2025. We're excited to have in the studio with us at this time Miss Erica Urick, who's the awesome Teacher of the Year over at Westgate K-8 School. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's brought along my very dear friend and colleague, Miss Jennifer Ingersoll, who is the principal there. Welcome, Miss Ingersoll.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is exciting for us to have this opportunity to speak with both of you, of course, to find out what's happening at Westgate, but to also to celebrate your selection as the Teacher of the Year. It gives us an opportunity to introduce some of our employees to our community, just to show them that, yes, we do have the brightest and the best near and far. With that said, Ms. Urick, introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm Mrs. Urick. I teach 3rd grade ELA. This is my 9th year teaching 3rd grade. I was in 2nd grade for about a half of a year and at Okamic, and then was hired full-time to teach 3rd. I was there for a few years and came to Westgate. This is going to be my 4th year at Westgate now.
Awesome, awesome. Ms. Ingersoll?
I have been with St. Lucie Public Schools for 19 years, and this is my first year over at Westgate. And prior to that, I was at a couple different schools in the district.
Awesome. So, Mrs. Urick, tell me, how did you feel when you first found out that you were selected as the Teacher of the Year?
A little overwhelmed. It is an honor, though, to be recognized by the fellow teachers and staff members at the school.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
No. I actually have my paralegal degree as well. And then I had my own child and decided to kind of switch gears.
So what have you found in the past 9 years that's most enjoyable to you?
Having the relationships with the students and the families. I mean, like I said, I got into this because of my own child, really, and creating those relationships with others it's what it's all about.
So, Mrs. Ingersoll, you have an opportunity to watch Mrs. Urick work each and every day. Share with us what you see, hear, or feel when you visit the class.
Usually when you go into the classroom, the kids are talking, they're working collaboratively. There's always conversations about books that they're reading or what they're learning. So it's just a very vibrant classroom and a real joy to walk into.
Describe Mrs. Urick for me with 3 adjectives, and then share with me why you've chosen those 3.
Okay. Since this is my first year over at Westgate, and I just had the opportunity to meet Miss Urick this year, one of my adjectives is definitely empathetic. She really comes with a heart, and she talked about that, about wanting to build relationships with kids, and you can see that she not only wants to build relationships with her students, but with the fellow teachers. She's also a leader. She is our grade chair for third grade, and you can see she genuinely wants to take an active role in making sure that the teachers know what's happening and feel that they're being heard, and really is a voice to make sure that as an administrator that I know what's happening and how we can help support not just the third grade teachers but the third grade kids as well. And then she's very, as she said, relational. She really works hard at developing relationships with parents, and it's just an open door policy. It's really very much a joy to see her at work.
So, Mrs. Jurek, what do you consider to be one of the largest challenges, greatest challenges facing education today?
Well, I think the technology is like a huge piece of this. I mean, it can be such a great tool, it really can, but it can also hinder some learning as well. And I think we're seeing that a little bit more as we, have further access to it.
So I'm your personal genie, and I have the power to grant you one wish related to education. What would you wish for?
I guess for there to be grace given for students, parents, and teachers. We're all going through this together, and things come about throughout the years, and giving grace to one another and understanding and being able to understand that we are all dealing with something a little different every day. So I think just giving grace to everyone as we're moving forward, and we all just want the students to be successful at the end of the day. That's what it's about. So,
what are you most proud about for your professional achievements?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like every year there's something else to be proud of. I mean, every year we're accomplishing more and more. So I'm just happy to still be here and able to have that opportunity to create more opportunities for me to be proud of. As of right now, I have a great team that I work with, a great administration, so I can't pick just one.
Okay. So, Ms. Ingersoll, what makes Mrs. Jurek the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
I feel like one of the things that Ms. Jurek really represents is just being a role model for teachers, in the sense that she is very relational. We've certainly talked about that, but she's also very professional in her knowledge about what she knows about ELA and her desire to make sure that the learning that's happening in her classroom is vibrant and really, really reaching the needs of students. She does a lot of work with diversifying her teaching to make sure she's understanding what each student needs and where their level of learning is and where they need to really focus to have a learning gain. So again, I would say going back to a role model, as an administrator, what you want for all of your students is to find success, whatever that might be. Whether it's a personal success, because that's the thing that they're struggling with, whether it's an academic success because, it's third grade, it's obviously very important to really pick up on reading, but there's a lot of social skills and everything that really goes into that third grade year. So role model, absolutely.
So what gives you the greatest career satisfaction?
Seeing the student growth from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. I love that. They're growing so much as students, as children, learning so much. Like she said, socially, academically, seeing that from beginning to end is awesome.
So let's have some fun. Let's play a speed round. I'll throw some favorites at you, and you just give me your first response.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Anything seafood.
Favorite restaurant?
Kyle G's.
Favorite movie?
Oh, I don't know. Probably Mrs. Doubtfire.
Favorite sports team?
So I'm married to the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm married into that. I have no other option.
We won't touch.
So sorry.
It's okay. Not my choice, but okay. I understand your reasoning.
I know, I have to.
Favorite song?
I don't know. I like all music.
So do you have a favorite quote or motivational saying?
No, I mean, there's so many to choose from. I don't really have a favorite for that either.
So, Ms. Ingersoll, what else would you like for us to know about your wonderful Teacher of the Year, Ms. Urick?
You know, I feel like hopefully it's shown through today, but she's also very, very kind. Very, very kind. And I said that with the being empathetic, but she truly is. If you're going to go and work with somebody day in, day out, you really want to feel like the person sitting across the table from you not only works collaboratively with you, but genuinely appreciates that you're there and the different opinions that you might have, and is just accepting of that and accepting of the conversation. So those were just a few of the extra things about Miss Urick.
So, Mrs. Urick, let's close it out. You are automatically the ambassador for education at Westgate. Many visitors may come by, and we may want to hear from the top ambassador of the school. What's your message?
For Westgate?
Yes.
Everyone there is so amazing. Everyone's doing everything that they possibly can. They put the students first. We have amazing support from our administrators, counselors, other staff members. It really is a fantastic place to work at and be at. I really am happy there.
Thank you both for sharing with us and visiting with us as we spotlight teachers for our viewers. And congratulations on your being selected as the Teacher of the Year at Westgate.
Thanks.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello and welcome again to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We are super excited to have with us Miss Cindy Brooks, who is the Teacher of the Year over at Felon Elementary School. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
She's brought along with her the wonderful principal there, Miss Heather Ricksecker. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're excited to have this opportunity to share with both of you. Mainly, I'll tell the truth because it gives us the opportunity to share with many of our viewers some of the dynamic teachers that we have here in St. Lucie Public School and remind them how you represent the best of the best near and far. With that said, I'll ask Ms. Brooks if you would briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Well, my name is Cindy Brooks. I am a graduate from St. Lucie Public Schools. I graduated from Port St. Lucie High School. I got my AA degree at Indian River State College and then continued on my education at Florida Atlantic University. And this is my 18th year teaching in St. Lucie County.
Cool. We love it when our products come back home to work, okay? Ms. Ricksecker, introduce yourself, please.
Certainly. My name is Heather Ricksecker. I, too, am a proud graduate of St. Lucie Public Schools. Go Greyhounds. So after LPA, I attended University of Florida. This is my 20th year in St. Lucie County Public Schools, and I'm just super proud and lucky and blessed to work with the best of the best.
Cool, cool. So, Ms. Brooks, let's jump right in. Tell me, how did you feel when you first found out that you were selected the Teacher of the Year over at Fairlawn?
Well, I would say I was really beyond shocked when Mrs. Ricksecker and Mrs. Reed walked through my door. It was completely unexpected, but I feel honored that my colleagues observe and recognize what my students and I are able to do together. And so for that, I feel very proud.
Have you always known that you wanted to be an educator?
I've known for as long as I can remember. As a child, I would come home from school and I had a chalkboard in my classroom and I would pretend to teach in order to do my homework. So for as long as I can remember, this is what I've wanted to do.
Who influenced you to be an educator?
I would have to say my 5th grade teacher. Her name was Miss Cosby. She was a teacher that everybody seemed to love, but the one thing that stands out when I think back to her class is the year I was in 5th grade was, there was a popular song by Whitney Houston called "The Greatest Love of All." And if you've never heard the song, it's about children finding the greatest love within themselves. And she made us listen to that song, I think, every single day, and we all thought she was a little bit crazy at the time, but it wasn't long. We were singing along, and when I think back, it's not the academic lessons I necessarily remember, it's what I learned from that.
So, Mrs. Ricksecker, you have the opportunity to watch Ms. Brooks work her magic every day. Share with us what we might see if we had that chance to visit with her.
Well, if you were lucky enough, you would see just hands-on activities. As the science teacher, she really does a lot of lab opportunities for the students. So she has her classroom set up, and she's set up a lab next door, and the students are able to put together different experiments and how they apply in the real world, and it really just kind of grounds their learning so that they're understanding a little bit more boring parts of the standards, but she makes it fun and exciting so that a lot of times they don't even know that they're learning. So just hands-on engagement you see every time you step in her classroom.
Ensuring that the standards that are required come alive.
Absolutely.
3 adjectives that might describe her and tell us why, please.
Oh, humble. Beyond a doubt, she is one of the most humble individuals I've ever met. When we did walk in to announce her as Teacher of the Year, her face was just dumbfounded. She just had absolutely no clue that her peers and all of us see the excellence that she brings to work each and every day. Diligent would be another one. There's not a moment that you walk into her room where learning, teaching, engagement is not happening, and just authentic. She's just a kind, authentic person, and we're really lucky to have her as part of our Fairlawn family.
I love authentic. Great descriptor. What inspires you?
I think I'm inspired by people who, sometimes seem to have things stacked against them, and yet they're able to find the positivity in the little things, the moments throughout the day. That inspires me. It makes me want to be a better person, and it inspires me in my teaching to keep trying even when things are difficult.
So if you could change one thing in education to have an impact, what would that be?
If I could change one thing, I think that I would really like to kind of level the playing field for students. I would like for all students, regardless of where they live, where they come from, to really have the same opportunities, access to the same resources in order to further their education.
Ms. Ricksecker, share with us why you believe that Mrs. Brooks is the perfect candidate for this honor.
Honestly, she's like the quintessential teacher. So everything that you would want in a teacher for your child, and she has taught both my children, is what you get with her. She's engaging, she's caring. Like she said, she wants everyone to have the same opportunity. She cares about the student as a person first and foremost. And everything that she encounters as a challenge, she takes head on, and she shows that determination to her students, and then they're able to apply it within her classroom as well.
So, Ms. Brooks, what do you think is one of the greatest challenges facing educators today? Describe it and tell us why.
I think one of the biggest challenges facing education is really the lack of qualified teachers. You listen throughout the entire country that teacher shortage is a huge problem. Being a trained teacher, knowing how to collaborate and plan and deliver engaging lessons, that's imperative to a student's education. And so I think a teacher shortage, having a lack of qualified teachers, schools where there is a shortage or there's constant teacher turnover because of the lack of qualified teachers, I think is a huge challenge in education.
So what would you say, what advice would you offer to a new teacher that started with you at Fairlawn?
I think that I would advise them to always be willing to ask for help, always be willing to accept help. But, being a teacher in a well-organized classroom is not something you walk in on day one and feel like you have mastered. So I would say give yourself some grace and, absorb what you can from your colleagues around you and let yourself learn as well.
We ask you to bring along with you a prop to tell us why and how it's meaningful to you as an educator. Would you share with us now, please?
Okay. So, of course, I teach science. So I brought a prop from science. So in my class, we do a lot of hands-on activities. And one of my favorite lessons to do is building circuits. But I kind of think, when you think about kids learning, a lot of teachers say when they see that kind of imaginary light bulb go on, this kind of represents that a little bit. But also, teaching at Fairlawn has really shown me how much I really love science. And, I taught science many years, but my focus was always other subjects too. And so now in the position I'm in, it's just really shown me how much I really love teaching what I'm teaching.
Great. So, Mrs. Ricksecker, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to brag on the fabulous Miss Brooks. Is there anything else that you want us to know about her?
I mean, like she kind of stated, when she came over to Fairlawn, she hadn't been a 5th grade science teacher before, and she did have some hesitation because she said, I've never taught science before. I was a 4th grade teacher. She's come in, she took the help that she's saying, sometimes you just need to accept. She planned with district science staff here, and she's the top performing science teacher in our district. I mean, her proficiency rate exceeds our ELA rate. It's 79% last year, and she's just a full-on Wonder Woman. And every student is just so lucky to have her.
So you are the ambassador for education at Fairlawn. What's your message to us?
I think, you don't have to be an educator to really be a game changer in the life of a child. And so it really takes everyone in the school, it really takes the community working together. But you don't have to be an educator to really be the one to make the difference. That can be anybody.
Well, ladies, thank you both for joining us as we celebrate teachers here in St. Lucie Public Schools. And Mrs. Brooks, congratulations on your selection.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello and welcome to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We have with us at this time Miss Yamil Mojica Yami, who's the Teacher of the Year over at the great St. Lucie West Centennial High School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I am honored to be here. Thank you.
She's brought along my friend and my boss, the proud principal over at St. Lucie West Centennial, Andrea Potwell. Pop, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Perry.
I'm excited to have an opportunity to speak with both of you. Of course, it gives us a chance to highlight St. Lucie West Centennial and the great things that's going there, but also to recognize the Teacher of the Year, introduce some of you to our public, our viewers, and show them how we really do have the best of the best near and far working here with us in St. Lucie Public. Would you briefly introduce yourself to our visitors?
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Yami Mojica. I've been teaching for 26 years. I taught for 19 years in Miami-Dade County. I taught grades 1 through 5th. I also taught adult education. I taught ESC, regular ed, and gifted. After my journey with Miami-Dade County, we decided to move to Port St. Lucie. So I transferred to Alapata Flats, K-8. I taught grades 5th and 2nd at Alapata Flats. And then I decided to make a change, and I had the opportunity at St. Lucie West Centennial to interview, and I was hired as the 9th grade intensive reading teacher at St. Lucie West Centennial.
Okay, welcome. Ms. Popwell, would you introduce yourself for us, please?
Yes, Andrea Popwell, the very proud principal of St. Lucie West Centennial High School. I am entering my 10th year as principal. I spent my first couple of years in education at Port St. Lucie High School as a PE teacher and science teacher. Then I transitioned to Centennial, where I was an assistant principal for 8 years, and now this is my 10th year as principal.
Again, welcome to the show. So, Ms. Mojica, tell me, how did you feel when you first found out that you were selected as a Teacher of the Year over at Centennial?
It was truly such an honor. I was very surprised. It brought tears to my eyes because when I first thought of, transferring to high school, I always said, I'm going to leave the little ones. I'm going to miss the little ones. But honestly, I am grateful that I took that step and I transferred to high school, just to know that my colleagues in just 2 years nominated me as their Teacher of the Year, and I am so loved by my students, so many students, and the teachers and the staff at St. Lucie West Centennial. It was truly an honor.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Ever since I was a little girl, I remember always at home playing teacher. I would line up my Cabbage Patch dolls in the living room, and I would read books to them. I would sing songs to them. I would play the piano for them. We would practice math like on a chalkboard. So it's always been like a dream that I always had. So yes, I've always wanted to be a teacher.
So what inspires you today?
What inspired me to be a teacher was the fact that I migrated to this country from Cuba, and at that time I had to learn to speak English, and so many teachers just showed me, and there were that light for me that taught me the second language, taught me that anything that I put in my heart I could accomplish. I then, I graduated from high school. I went to, St. Thomas, and I became a teacher. I then wanted to continue growing as an educator. I earned my master's degree, and then I said, I'm not done yet. I want to go earn my leadership. So I went for ed leadership in Nova University.
So, Ms. Popwell, if I came on campus and said, let's go visit your Teacher of the Year, what might I expect to see when I walked into her room?
You'll see her students very much engaged. She really does meet students where they are. They're always doing some sort of hands-on activity. Ms. Mojica is very lively and entertaining, and she truly does love her kids.
So if you had to choose 3 adjectives to describe her, what might they be and why?
Spirited, caring, and committed. Because she brings all of those things to St. Lucie West Centennial High School from her elementary background in both Miami-Dade and at Alapata. She's always the first person to volunteer for anything at Centennial. She comes early, she leaves late, she goes above and beyond each and every day.
There are many things happening in education, Ms. Mojica. So what do you think might be one of the greatest challenges facing education, and why?
I feel that one of the greatest challenges today is the teacher shortage. I feel that the teacher shortage is really affecting our students because of the student to teacher ratio. We have very large classrooms because of this shortage. So I definitely feel that one of the greatest challenges is the teacher shortage.
So I have been given the power to grant you one wish for education. So I tell you, okay, what would that one wish be if I granted you your one wish for education?
That one wish would be for every teacher to make a bond with their students, to love their students, to get to know their students, and to really be that shining light for those students and be that role model that they deserve to have.
Share with us what might be your proudest professional achievement.
I would say that I have many proud achievements, but my proudest has definitely been in just the fact that I've only been at St. Lucie West Centennial for 2 years, being recognized as their Teacher of the Year with such a large staff. I was very surprised. I am very honored, and it just shows the relationship that I have not only with my students but with my colleagues and my staff.
So, Ms. Potwell, what makes Ms. Mojica the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
Because she does truly love her students, as she said. She shows up for them every day, and she embodies everything that Centennial is. We're a big family. We're a loving, caring group of people that want the best for students, and Ms. Mojica exudes that every single day.
So, Ms. Mojica, we ask you to bring along a prop with you and share that prop with us about how and why it's meaningful to you as an educator. So if you would hold your prop up and share with us at this time.
So this is my prop, and it's a heart shape that says, I love us. I graduated, and I was only 21 years old when I graduated, and that was my first teaching job. And I have had this on my desk of my classroom every single year since my first year teaching. And the reason why this prop is so meaningful to me is because I want my students every single year to know that I love us. I love my classroom, I love our bond, I love my relationship with them. So to me, just the words I love us just shows them that I love what we have in our classroom.
So, Ms. Potwell, is there anything else that you might want to add about your wonderful Teacher of the Year at this time?
I really think we've said it all, and who she is goes to the love she has for her students. I don't care if it's Carnival, International Day, Parent Night, whatever it is, Ms. Mojica is there. She's willing, she's able, she translates, she's a grade level sponsor. She's just really an outstanding human being, and I love having her on campus.
So one more question, Ms. Mojica. You are automatically the ambassador for education over at St. Lucie West Centennial. Pop has many visitors come, and we enter your room, and they said, oh, the Teacher of the Year. What's your message about the greatness of Centennial in education to those visitors?
My message is that St. Lucie West Centennial is a family. We are a family in so many ways. We do what's best for our students. We love our students. We show up for our students, and we are there for each other as well. As a staff, we are there for each other. When there's anything going on with, a student in our campus, we all get together and we help. So it's just knowing that we're a big family at St. Lucie West Centennial. Whether it's with the teachers, the students, the parents, that's what makes us so wonderful.
Once again, congratulations on your selection.
Thank you.
Potwell, Ms. Mojica, thank you both for joining us as we celebrate teachers and teaching here in St. Lucie Public Schools.
Thank you very much,
Dr. Perry.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Hello to our awesome viewing audience. We are back in the studio today with Dr. Kimberly Snow, the wonderful Teacher of the Year at Treasure Coast High School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
She's brought along with her my good friend, colleague, the proud principal there, Mr. Brad Lehman.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're excited to have an opportunity to speak with both of you. It gives us an opportunity to shine light on teachers and teaching because you represent the brightest and the best that we have to offer here in St. Lucie County. And in a way, also gives a chance to talk about the great things that's happening over at Treasure Coast High School. With that said, would you, Dr. Snow, briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Well, I'm Kimberly Snow. I have been teaching for 19 years, all at Treasure Coast High School. I had the amazing opportunity to meet with Dr. Wild now when they were opening Treasure Coast High School and they were piloting the Treasure Coast Freshman Seminar Program. And that has been my spot. I've been there since the beginning, so much so that I went back and got my doctorate in education to continue with the learning and the process of education.
Awesome. Mr. Lehman, it's your chance. Introduce yourself, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you for welcoming me. Always great to be here. I'm in my second year as principal at Treasure Coast High School, although this is my 5th year as a principal here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Served as an administrator, and like Dr. Snow, I started my teaching career at Treasure Coast High School as well when the school was in its inaugural year in 2006.
So, Dr. Snow, tell me, what do you make of your selection as the Teacher of the Year for Treasure Coast High School?
In all the years that I've been there, my goal has not been recognition. It's been making a difference. And with students, and as my veteran years have come to pass, mentoring other teachers, not necessarily formally, but building relationships, building a support system. Whether they're coming from another school or they're new to teaching, they need to have that support, that positive support, that feedback that you can get this here or you can get this assistant there. But having that love and nurturing feeling given from you to other people, whether it's to the teachers, to the students, it makes all the difference. Those positive connections, if we have a positive interaction, that's going to brighten your day to the next person. It does that with teachers, it does that with students. I think that's why. They want to let everyone know that Treasure Coast shines, that we have that, and that's what our students love the most.
So I feel the energy, so I'm going to jump to the next question and ask you, what inspires you each day to do what you do?
What doesn't inspire me? I really believe that an attitude of gratitude, that when you wake up in the morning and you're grateful for all the things around you. I love what I do. You love what you do, it's not work. No day is perfect. But when I have those moments with students or with colleagues that I know I've made that difference, I have that every single day. That moment where we're making eye contact and I've said something, and whether you smile or you nod or you ask a question that you might have been afraid to ask, I know that I've made that difference.
So, Mr. Lehman, you have an opportunity to experience this energy on a regular basis, a daily basis. Take me into the classroom so I can feel it from your point of view.
Sure. Well, you know, one of the things that you see and that you feel when you enter Dr. Snow's classroom is engagement. Very engaging with discussion, with activities, with introspection. A lot of the things, and a lot of it is credit to the curriculum that she teaches and the content that she teaches. But students are exploring themselves. They're exploring their own interests. And what better thing to be interested in as a teenager is themselves, and exploring where their interests lie, and probably even better, what attributes and skills do they possess that lead them to considering and exploring different options. I also hear and see accountability. Dr. Snow is one that she has her expectations and students meet them. And fortunate for us at Treasure Coast High School, she's shared that experience from her first day as a teacher back in 2006 all the way through today. She shares that experience with other teachers, and especially new teachers, and helps guide and mentor them in that way.
So what is most enjoyable for you to keep this kind of energy flowing with your students?
It's building the relationships. Oftentimes, especially since COVID, oftentimes students transitioning to high school, they're much more timid. They're a little nervous. They don't know where they stand. They may be afraid that they might have the wrong answer, so they might not answer. But giving them questions that gauge, that are open-ending, that they realize, if I recognize that you are more comfortable speaking out, I'm going to pull that leadership out of you, where someone else may be more one-on-one. But by the end of the semester, we've done discussions, we've had reflections, and you know that you're as valuable as anyone else in here, and that your opinion is as important as mine. And they teach me as much as I facilitate their learning, they teach me every day. There's not one day in those connections. There's not enough money in the world to have that every day, to go into work and know you're going to have that again and again in every period.
So, Mr. Lehman, tell me, what makes Dr. Snow the perfect candidate for this honor?
Well, first of all, she's a leader of our teachers. And so, having that badge of honor in a building like ours goes a long way. We have over 120, close to 150 teachers, and she's a shining star. And having been at Treasure Coast High School since day one, it makes a difference because she takes great pride in being a Titan, as do I. And as do most of the people in our building, if not all the people in our building, and that resonates with our students. And in freshman seminar, when those students are just entering high school, that is just as important as a lot of other things, is getting them bought into the history, the tradition, and the pride of Treasure Coast High School. And she does that every day.
So, Dr. Snow, I have been given the power to grant you one wish for education. So I'm turning it over. What's your wish?
One wish. Wow. That every student would believe me when I tell them you are capable of greatness, for them to genuinely buy into it. Quite often I was talking to my mom just recently saying, those students that start out really quiet or are difficult, those are the most engaged by the end of the year. Those are the ones that finally believe it. That mindset, to have every student shift from that fixed mindset, if they have it, to that growth mindset, to get gritty, to have that passion and perseverance. And when we focus on future you, I tell them all the time, future you is who matters. When you make the choices today, future you, we want to look at them, we want to inspire them, we want to open doors for them. That's what I wish that every student knows, that they're safe, knows that they're connected, that they have those connections with teachers, and that they know that they're capable, that no one stifles them, whether it's home, the economy, anything else, that they know in their heart of hearts that we know that they have that.
So this is my opportunity to interview you, but I'm going to go back 19 years and find one of those students today that you had 19 years ago. What would they tell me about Dr. Snow's class?
Jonathan. I label him by name. That first semester, I was an inexperienced teacher. This was brand new. I went from human resources hiring to firing to being in a classroom. I had teenagers at home. I built good relationships with teenagers, but it was our first year. Expectations were high. And every day, I would redirect, I would engage. You're capable of greatness. Jonathan left after that first semester. I saw him about 6 years later yell across to me at Walmart. And I looked over and I was like, he looks so familiar. And he said, I was like, Jonathan, how are you? He said, I'm great. Do you know what I'm doing? I was like, I don't know, tell me. I could remember him from back in the day. And he said, I'm a nurse. And I was like, what made you decide to be a nurse? He said, you did. He looked me right in the eye. He said, you did. Every day when I would try and goof around, you never gave up on me. You always said I was capable of greatness and that I could do great things. And he said, now I'm doing things. I've got a relationship. My life is great.
Awesome, awesome. We ask you to bring a prop with you. Share with us.
Okay, this picture, when I decided to teach, my daughter was at another high school. She had gotten into a little trouble, and I moved her to Treasure Coast when they opened. And she didn't talk to me for a few weeks. And our assistant principal back then, Mrs. Rodriguez, and I were meeting after school for a little mentoring connection. And Amanda walked up and she said, oh, I need to stay for this. And Ms. Rodriguez asked her, how is it going? And she lit up like a Christmas tree. And she said, I'm in the engineering program. This is the best I've ever felt. And I knew in that moment that we had that connection. Fast forward to homecoming, we were getting her dressed, and she said, are you and Daddy gonna chaperone the dance? And I was like, wow, this is the first time we've really talked. And I was like, do you want me to? And she was like, yes. And she goes, can we match dresses? And at first I thought it was a prank. I was like, sure. She's like, no, I really want. And I was like, absolutely. And Daddy and my date, they can match shirts and ties and socks. From someone who was so distraught to having her world shifted to another high school for the first time in her high school experience. She knew her value at school, and I knew my value in the classroom.
Awesome. So, Mr. Lehman, is there anything else that you might want to share about Dr. Snow?
Well, the only thing that's worth mentioning here at the end is, I know I've talked a little bit about Dr. Snow being a teacher leader, and one of the things since my arriving back at Treasure Coast that I've come to know about Dr. Snow is she has led this movement of teachers that they've now coined themselves as the Lunch Bunch that eat together every single day. And I'm not talking about 3 or 4 teachers that share a common planning or even share a common grade level. I'm talking about teachers across content areas, across grade levels, that really their only connection to each other is someone reaching out to them, likely Dr. Snow, that said, hey, come eat with us. And you go into their planning area during lunch, you're going to see anywhere from 15 to 20 teachers all sitting, eating, and having informal conversations about teaching and about strategies and about those types of things. And that's all attributed to Dr. Snow and her investment into our developing and budding teachers and grabbing them from the start. First week of school, grabbing them in and then them finding a home with other teachers and connecting them to each other to make sure that not only do we not leave any students out of feeling successful, much like she's talked about with her own students, she makes our teachers feel that same way. That
Awesome.
we're not gonna let them flounder as developing teachers. We're gonna make sure they're as successful as we are.
So, we expect for all Teacher of the Years, all teachers, to have a message that they would share, because you are one of the best ambassadors education and St. Lucie Public Schools could ever have. What's your message?
We have such an amazing partnership with Indian River State College for our students to take dual enrollment courses well in high school at no cost, at no financial burden to both the students and the parents. And we have been doing, this year we had our most successful dual enrollment meeting with parents. We sent an email blast to all the 9th grade parents, letting them know, hey, we're offering this little get together. It's very informal. Our guidance director met, but I had the opportunity. I met with parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles. We had over 65 come to this meeting and talk. We talked one-on-one, and more than 90% of them had no idea or said, I know my student's not ready, but I can't wait till next year. That burden's not on my shoulders anymore. We can meet their needs where they are.
Well, thank you both for joining me and sharing a little bit about Treasure Coast and the wonderful things that's happening in your class and on your campus, Dr. Snow. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Titan born, Titan bred.
Titan born, Titan bred.
That's right.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Wow, what an amazing and inspiring group of educators. The Teacher of the Year Award is a call to service that comes with a responsibility and obligation to elevate students and the profession. This award isn't about being the best teacher, it's about being chosen to represent the best teachers and the honor of being called to represent such an incredible profession. We applaud these teachers who devote their personal lives to enriching the lives of St. Lucie Public Schools and our students. We thank them every day because they make a difference and do that special something that truly matters. Every day, they leave an undeniable mark on the future. Congratulations to all these teachers for their selection as the Teacher of the Year.